Can you speak English fluently in 6 months? Just 6 months, can you do it? In 6 months from now, from today, can you speak English fluently? The answer is yes. Yes, you can. But that's good news, isn't it? Yes, you can. Everybody can speak English fluently in just 6 months' time. But first of all, we need to understand, what does fluent mean? What does it mean? Fluent, fluency, or fluent English. I speak fluent English. What does that mean? Well, we need to think about the word itself, because the root is the same as the word fluid. If you think about the word fluid, even in French, it's the same as fluent, right? What does fluent mean? Flowing or moving like water. If you think about the river, if you think about the stream of water, how does the water move? It flows, it moves very easily, okay? If you pour water into your cup, how does that water get into your cup? Very easily. Water-like movement, okay? Now, if you put that into perspective, we're talking about English. You speak English fluently means you speak English smoothly, like water when it flows in the river, easily, without any effort. There's no difficulty when you are speaking the language. That's what fluent means. It means to speak without any difficulty, at ease, okay? So we're talking about smooth words, very easy to come out of your mouth. That's what it means by fluent. So this guy speaks fluent English, but what about the other one? How does he speak English? Okay, the opposite is quite simple. Somebody who speaks like, that's it. Exactly. See what I'm doing right here? That's not fluency. I'm struggling. I find it difficult to speak. Okay? The words are not coming out easily. Maybe I'm translated. Maybe there's some translation going on in my head. That's not good. That's not fluency. That's the opposite of fluent. Also, fluency does not mean perfection. You need to really, really understand this point. Fluency is not perfect English. You're not trying to speak like a native speaker when your goal is to be fluent in English. Fluency means you have like you don't need a huge amount of vocabulary to speak fluent English, right? Maybe you sound like a native speaker, but you don't have the level of a native speaker. That's really, really advanced. But fluency does not mean speak like a native speaker. It only means that you are able to communicate your thoughts, your feelings, your everyday conversational topic things, like going shopping, talking about what you did, what you're doing, what you are going to do. And maybe you're talking about basic things like how's the weather. You don't need huge amount of vocabulary to talk about everyday topics. You don't need complicated vocabulary. We're not talking about diseases or politics. We're not talking about those things. We're only talking about general English. If you want to sound or if you want to be fluent, you only need, about 3,000 words to actually talk about the things I mentioned. Whether you're talking about yourself, how you're feeling, what you did, what you're going to do, and all of those things. You only need simple words. Talking about fluency in 6 months, it's not really a fair way to talk about the time, when you're trying to reach your goal of speaking English fluently. It's not, because it's not about how many months. Really. Before I tell you about the time, you need to understand 2 points: quantity and quality. Quantity is how many times you do something. Quality is how you do something. Let's talk about quantity, because I was talking about time, right? 6 months. It's not really a best way to describe time here. Okay, we're talking about quantity, how many times, which means we should be talking about hours instead, right? Let me just give you an example. So we got this person right here and this person right there. Okay, these 2 people right here, and both of them are trying to reach the fluency level in English in 6 months. So person A is listening to English 2 hours per week, 10 or 15 minutes every day, or maybe 30 minutes, but the total is 2 hours every single week of listening. Person B is listening to 5 hours per day. It's not a week, I got you right there, didn't I? 5 hours per day. Every day he listens to 5 hours of English. And this guy is listening to 2 hours of English but per week. Now, when we get to 6 months, are they gonna be the same level? Are they gonna have the same level of fluency in English? Of course not. This guy is gonna be up here. I think you understand what I'm saying. It's not about how many months. It's about how many hours, right? That's the quantity. We're talking about how many times you do something. If you're committed, if you want to do something and you have the 6 months as a goal, you need to really work hard. That's the quantity. Now, quality. Quality is how you do something. The problem is a lot of people spend hours listening to English, hours and hours and hours. But at the end of the day, they just wasted their time for nothing. They were actually wasting their time because the quality was really low. Think about yourself when you went to school. Okay, maybe you studied English for 5 years already. You know, think about middle school, high school, maybe even university, and you still can't speak fluent English. That's because the quantity was there. The quantity was there, but the quality was bad, it was terrible, it was boring. You did not really enjoy or feel like improving. That's because the quality was low. You need to improve your quality, make it better so that you can learn faster. See what I mean? But how can you get quality? Let me tell you, very simple. You don't have to, first of all, you don't have to memorize words. You just have to put that aside. Forget about it. Memorization is just a waste of time. Don't memorize anything. You need to be focused 100% every time you're listening to English. Your emotions need to be there. You need to be focused, hyper energetic. You need to give your maximum when you are listening to anything. For example, now when you're listening to me, you need to pay attention to every single word I'm saying. Of course, what I want you to do is I want you to go and listen to native speakers, but also be careful. Don't listen to things you don't understand, because you may be listening to 5 hours of English, but you didn't understand anything. That's a complete waste of time. You just wasted your time because your brain is not capturing anything. You need to listen to something that you can understand. It can go for a little difficult, but something that you can understand 95% of it. That's good for you. Listen to that many times every day. But then you have to repeat and repeat and repeat. You have to deep learn something, okay? Just don't learn it one time and then cast it away. No, you have to keep doing it again and again and over and over and again. That's deep learning. That's repetition. That's quality. So we talked about the focus. You need to be 100% focused every minute you're listening to English. But also the emotion part is very important. Your emotions, how are you attached? You have to be feeling positive, you have to be smiling, you have to be energetic when you are listening to English. Sometimes maybe a little negative feelings as well could work. But let me just simplify it for you and give you an example so that you can understand what I'm talking about right here. Let's just use the word forget. To forget. Let's just imagine you don't know the word forget. Okay, now you're trying to learn this word to forget. What does to forget mean? Now, the traditional way, the old method of learning, the boring method is that you go to a maybe Google translation and then you translate the word into Arabic or any given language that you speak. Okay, and then you'll be like, that's to forget. Nice. Okay, and then you move to a second word and another word, and then you have like a list of words that you have learned every day, and you think you're learning. First of all, you're wasting your time. That's low quality, and also it's just the repetition is not helping. It's not helping because by the time you get to the 50th word, you already forgot about the first 10. Waste of time. You're just wasting your time. The best way is when you learn the word in a practical way. For example, let's imagine your best friend has done something bad to you. Just imagine your best friend has done to you like something really bad. Maybe you told them a secret and they just let the cat out of the bag and they told everybody. Or they told people they shouldn't be telling anything. You're so mad, you're so angry because they kind of like betrayed you. You trusted them, but they betrayed you. They don't deserve your trust. But then your friend learns a lesson and they realize they have done something really bad. And now they want to apologize. And they come up to you and they be like, oh, please, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Please, this is the first and last time I do something like this. I beg you, please forgive me. I just want your forgiveness. Just forgive me this time. If I do it again, don't ever forgive me. Just forgive me this time, and I'll promise you I will never even think about it. Now, the word forgive has been repeatedly repeated more than one time. Now, which scenario do you feel you will remember the word longer in the future? Of course, the second one. It's more memorable. It's gonna stick to your mind because there's a story involved. There's like so many emotions attached to it. That's why you won't even forget it. Forgive is to accept apology from someone. It's better than translation, really. And I know, you'll be like, but how can we do it? How can we learn this way? By listening. When you listen, things you easily understand, and when you repeat watching those things, maybe your friend doesn't speak English, but if you watch people doing it, if you watch a movie, somebody saying, I'm sorry, forgive me, a lot of the time you will understand. And not just that, you won't only understand the word, but also there's a bonus tip right there. You will understand and you will learn how to say sorry in English. Different ways to say sorry in English. You don't need your friend. Your videos that you are watching or anything, the podcasts, those are your English friends. And me, of course, if you watch me and subscribe to my channel, that would mean a lot to me. And also, the way I could have done this video in Arabic. I could recorded all of this in Arabic, me talking in Arabic, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do it solely in English because, first of all, you're getting advice, and at the same time, you're getting English input. Input means something that goes into a mind, and the output is when you speak. Catching two birds with one stone, or getting two birds with only one stone. Whatever it is, but it's good for you. So I talked to you about quantity and quality. Give you another example of quality. So let's say, for example, because this is how I want you to train your mind to be fluent in English, or your brain to be fluent in English. I want you to think of your favorite soccer player. My favorite soccer player is Messi. Maybe yours is Ronaldo. Other people's is Haaland, Mbappe, whatever generation you're, thinking about. Whoever that player is. But it gotta be professional. If you compare yourself to that champion, right? And you do the same sport. Do you guys train the same way? The same amount of hours every day? And do you also have the same quality of training? For example, let's say Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi, they probably train at least 2 times every day. 2 times! If they're not training with the team, they may be training at home. They have gyms and everything. Even if they are professionals, they train before every single game. And even if there's no game, there's always training going on. Always. They train so hard and they repeat. If they learn something, they want to learn something, they repeat it over and over and over again. Not just 5 or 100 times. They repeat it 1,000 times every day. That's why they're champion. Now, look at yourself. If you want to be a football player, I'm a football player, but I don't train at all. When my friends call me, I just go play. And that's why we feel tired after just 5 minutes of play, because we're not champions. We don't have the mindset of a champion. You need to be a champion when you want to speak English fluently. You need to give it your 100%. You need to be disciplined. You have to have that determination, that hunger, that thrust. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Also, one more final thing. There's always gonna be people out there telling you you can't do it. What are you trying to speak English in 6 months? Dude, come on, bro. You will never achieve your goal. That's very, very far from achieving. You can't do that. There's gonna be a lot of people saying a lot of negative stuff around you. Every time you tell them like, I'm gonna start my own business. You start your own business? I mean, come on. Come on, buddy. They will always try to find some negativity, throw it on you. And most people really take it. Ignore them. Ignore these people. Ignore these champions. They never listen to these negative people. I don't know why they do it. Maybe they've been desperate in their lives, or I don't know. They must have reasons why they do what they do. Don't even tell them. you're trying to learn English to be fluent in 6 months. Never ever tell anybody what you're doing. Be careful who you tell your dreams to. They might be smiling at you, laughing with you, hanging out with you, but deep down they have this, I don't know, jealousy, whatever it is, but be secret about everything, right? So that's it for me. That's all I can say to you about speaking fluent English in 6 months. Of course, all I said is what I have followed personally, because all what I have said, it was actually coming from a very famous teacher, AJ Hogue, and I've taken a lot of information from him because thanks to him, I speak this English. He gave me the motivation and discipline and consistency. Consistency is key. Consistency is when you do something, when you start and when you finish that thing. Don't stop midway. You go all the way. And also English, there's never an end point. You're always learning, okay? So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, comment down below, and don't forget to be positive. Thank you.